This is CBS News, New York.
Right now, a tense night at the New York Mayoral Debate. Cuomo, Mamdani and Sliwa come out swinging and doubling down on their biggest issues. Why one candidate says the others can't protect New Yorkers.
President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, is indicted. The charges he faces this morning.
Ukrainian President Zelenskyy is set to visit today as the president pushes to broker peace in the Russia-Ukraine war. This as we hear what went down in a lengthy call between Trump and President Putin. Good morning on this Friday, October 17th. I'm Cindy Hsu, and for Chris Raggi.
And I'm Mary Calvi. And let's get you right over to Tony Sadiku. He has your first alert forecast from the virtual studio. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Cindy. Made it to Friday. We're excited about that, and we're excited about this forecast, especially if you wouldn't mind it a little warmer. That's the process that we're going to be in, is starting to turn up the thermostat. We do that a slight notch today, maybe a degree or two this afternoon. You'll feel it. Still sweater out the door and take the sunglasses too. Now, let me show you. That's where we're going. That's not where we are right now. Yeah, far cry from 60s now. It's 34 in Sussex, Bridgewater 34. That's before you factored in the breeze. Monticello's freezing. Poughkeepsie is there too. And you got temperatures in and around town in the mid to upper 40s. So 48 and dropping. It's a clear morning. Lovely afternoon in store, but want to show you some changes we're tracking for the weekend. One of the things is you're going to notice an increase in clouds. There's actually going to be a big-time storm system that lines up across the middle of the country, produces some severe weather mid-south into portions of the Mississippi Valley. And by Sunday night, it's closing in. Could it lead to a wet Monday? We'll track some of those issues coming up in just a bit. But first, got to go back to Guy at 5:31. It's early, but it is slow in spots, Guy.
That's definitely the case, Tony. We're going to start in Westchester. Look at this long line of red here. Construction has one lane closed on the southbound side of the New England Thruway in New Rochelle. Delays are back into Mamaroneck. Currently, the Hutch is definitely going to be a better option if you're headed southbound. Up to Nanuet, we have a crash. One lane is closed on the southbound Palisades Parkway, right at the Thruway. We had a bad crash right in the same spot yesterday. Currently, delays are back to Middletown Road. A heads up if you're headed to the Holland Tunnel in Jersey City. A crash has one lane closed on Route 139 eastbound near Palisade Avenue. Delays are back to 1 and 9. Taking a live look at the George Washington Bridge, all of the earlier road work here has cleared out. No delays getting across the span. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Mary and Cindy, back to you.
Guy, thank you. The three candidates for New York City mayor met up for the first time last night for a debate.
Andrew Cuomo, Zoran Mamdani, and Curtis Sliwa engaged in a 2-hour slugfest addressing issues including public transportation, affordable housing, and how to stand up to President Trump. Elijah Westbrook is live at City Hall with a recap. Elijah, good morning.
Hey there, good morning to you, Mary and Cindy. Well, what we watched last night was the mayoral candidates doubling down and going on the attack, at times feeling very combative and complex.
Sparks were flying as Andrew Cuomo, Zoran Mamdani, and Curtis Sliwa squared off on issues and controversies ahead of the November 4th election.
And what all of that experience has shown me, which Mr. Cuomo can't seem to understand, is that it is far too expensive and far too hard for New Yorkers to afford to live in this city.
He literally has never had a job. On his resume, it says he interned for his mother.
We could raise $1 billion from Columbia University, NYU, that are in the real estate business, and Madison Square Garden, your friends, Andrew Cuomo, Jimmy Dolan, who pays no property taxes.
The wide-ranging debate dealt with public safety, affordability, free buses, a rent freeze, and the ability to stand up to Donald Trump. But over and over, it seemed to go back to anti-Semitism, the Middle East, and whether Israel has the right to exist as a Jewish state.
The assemblyman still won't say he believes that Israel has the right to exist as a Jewish state. He is a divisive personality.
I've said time and again that I recognize Israel's right to exist. I've said that I will not recognize any state. I said that I will not.
As a Jewish state.
If I would be allowed to finish, that I would not recognize any state's right to exist with a system of hierarchy on the basis of race, of religion.
Jews are under attack now more than ever before. And I don't believe either of you have the capabilities of protecting them with increased anti-Semitism.
I don't think in any way the assemblyman is representative of the Muslim community. Many of his positions don't even follow the Muslim faith.
You know, it took Andrew Cuomo being beaten by a Muslim candidate in the Democratic primary for him to set foot in a mosque. It's been an hour and 20 minutes of this debate, and we haven't heard Governor Cuomo say the word affordability. That's why he lost.
Overnight, each of the candidates' campaigns released statements touting their own performance Thursday night. Mamdani's team wrote that he dominated the debate stage and sent Andrew Cuomo chasing his tail. Cuomo's campaign said he was the only candidate on that stage capable of doing the job on day one. And for Sliwa, I was the clear winner tonight.
And back out here live now with early voting set for October 25th and the actual election on November 4th. These next few weeks are certainly critical for the candidates. You do want to mention that the next and final debate is set for October 22nd. You're live right now just outside City Hall. Elijah Westbrook, CBS News, New York.
Elijah, thank you. And stay with us leading up to Election Day. On our website, you'll find a live blog of the debate, and we have a full Voters Decide guide at cbsnewyork.com.
5:35, a one-time President Trump aide turned prominent critic is now facing criminal charges.
Former National Security Advisor John Bolton was indicted in Maryland on charges of mishandling classified information. Aziza Schuler is here in the studio with the details. Aziza.
Good morning, Cindy and Mary. John Bolton is the latest outspoken critic of President Trump to face criminal charges, and sources say he is expected to turn himself in sometime today. 2 months after federal agents searched Bolton's home in Maryland and his office in Washington, a grand jury has indicted Bolton on 18 counts, including transmission of national defense information and unlawful retention of national defense information. The charging documents allege the former national security advisor shared more than 1,000 pages of highly sensitive information about his day-to-day activities in the White House. Court records also show the agents seized multiple documents labeled secret, confidential, and classified, including some about weapons of mass destruction. Yesterday, President Trump claimed he did not know about the indictment.
I didn't know that. You tell me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Bolton is the third Trump opponent to be indicted in the last month. In a statement, Bolton says he is a victim of Trump's weaponization of the Justice Department, and he will fight the charges. Cindy.
Aziza, thank you. President Trump is turning his focus to Russia's war on Ukraine. Today, he will host Ukraine's President Zelenskyy at the White House. This after announcing a development to the stalemate to talks between Russia and Ukraine. Naomi Ruckham has the latest details.
Fresh off his big win securing a Middle East peace deal, President Trump now hopes to do the same for Ukraine and Russia.
We're going to get it stopped.
Today, President Trump meets with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. The two are expected to discuss the president's lengthy phone call yesterday with Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
I thought it was a very good phone call. I thought very productive.
Afterwards, President Trump announced that he and Putin will hold a summit in Budapest, like the one the two had in Alaska back in August. So far, no date has been set, though the president says a U.S. delegation led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio will hold high-level talks with Russian officials next week. With Russia launching more attacks ahead of today's meeting, Zelenskyy is expected to press the president to give Ukraine long-range Tomahawk missiles. The president says he asked Putin about that yesterday.
I did actually say, would you mind if I gave a couple of thousand Tomahawks to your opposition? He didn't like the idea.
The Kremlin says that giving Ukraine Tomahawks could damage prospects for a peaceful settlement. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Earlier this week, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was in Brussels to discuss weapon supplies to Ukraine with his NATO counterparts.
5:38 as we enter day 17 of the shutdown. Lawmakers have gone home until Monday, meaning the impasse will stretch through the weekend. Yesterday, the Senate failed for the 10th time to pass a bill to extend government funding. The vote was 51-45, falling short of the 60 votes needed to move forward. No new Democrats joined Republicans to vote to advance the legislation. The Senate also voted on advancing a long-term appropriations bill to fund the Pentagon. That also failed. Now, more than 800,000 federal employees are either working without pay or furloughed, many now struggling to afford basic necessities.
A mediator will be on hand today amid ongoing contract negotiations to avoid a strike on Broadway. The two major labor unions have authorized a strike, though no strike has been called. Members of both unions are currently working under expired contracts. Both unions want pay increases and higher contributions by producers toward employee health care costs, a key sticking point. The 2024-2025 Broadway season took in $1.9 billion, the highest grossing season in recorded history. Now let's go to meteorologist Tony Sadiku in our virtual studio.
Good morning, Cindy. So, as you know, this is some of the coldest air we've felt this season, and it's still in place. Of course, the temperatures are chilly, got 30s and 40s, and the wind is no help because it's blowing anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour at times, occasionally gusting in the neighborhood of 20. You felt it all day yesterday. I'm optimistic that the winds can actually back off a little bit, so it's not as strong as we go through the day. What that means is temperatures can take advantage. Sun is shining, sunglasses are on, just a couple of clouds this afternoon, but it is rain-free. We'll talk about for how long when I see you in my full first alert forecast. 5:40, let's go to Guy, busy in the traffic center. What's the latest?
Well, Tony, we have a problem in Westchester. We have construction. One lane is closed on the southbound side of the New England Thruway in New Rochelle. You can see this long line of red delays all the way back to Mamaroneck. Cars should definitely hop over to the Hutch. That is wide open. That's going to be a better option. In Nanuet, we have a crash. One lane is closed on the southbound side of the Palisades Parkway, right at the Thruway. Currently, delays are back to New City. And a heads up if you're headed to the Holland Tunnel in Jersey City, we have a crash. One lane is closed on Route 139 eastbound, right near Palisade Avenue. Delays are currently back to 1 and 9. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Mary and Cindy, back to you.
Guy, thank you. 5:41 coming up. The weather's getting colder, so the heat should be on in your apartments by now. What every tenant needs to know about heat rules and how to report a landlord breaking them.
And it's a fitness craze sweeping across social media right now. Weighted vests. Health experts tell us if the equipment truly helps to improve your workout.